Hello and welcome back to our Lord of the Rings LCG solo progression series, and today's quest is Encounter at Amon, which is the third adventure pack in the Against the Shadow cycle. A quick reminder, in this series we're playing through each quest in chronological order of the game's initial release, and we'll only be using player cards that were available at the time of this quest release. I'm calling this deck Emergency Medical Tacticians because Amon is under attack from orcs. There's an emergency and we will be trying to rescue the villagers. This is a very easy quest, which is a nice change of pace after some difficult ones in the Against the Shadow cycle. So we're going to just kind of overpower this really easy deck with an Outlands deck. It's a little bit cheesy to use Outlands, I think. I don't generally want to use Hirluin and just spam Outlands. There's not much strategy there. But this is a good scenario just to show how powerful it is, because we'll win with pretty much any deck. As long as you can keep your threat low, you're fine. And so we'll just demonstrate how they work. Here's Hirluin the Fair. And he's got a nice starting threat of 8. He's an Outlands type hero. He has range, which is nice in multiplayer, but he's got really low stats. 1 willpower, 1 attack, 1 defense, 4 health. However, he's like Elrond in that he can use his resources to pay for allies outside of his sphere, and specifically for Outlands ally cards. And so he can pay for Amphalos Herdsman and Ithir Swordsman, Hunter of Lamadon, etc. And the nice thing about Hirluin is that as he plays these allies, he becomes himself more and more powerful because he is boosted by cards like Amphalos Herdsman. And so here is the rundown of what Outlands allies there are. Amphalos Herdsman boosts all Outlands characters for +1 hit points. Ithir Swordsman for +1 willpower, the most powerful of the Outlands allies. Forlong is a unique character that we might get into play. Hunter of Lamadon, we've seen him. Doesn't boost any of the other cards, but he's nice with his response. You can cycle through your deck and try to find the Outlands cards. Then Knights of the Swan is new. He boosts all Outlands characters by +1 attack. And then Warrior of Lothar boosts all Outlands characters by +1 defense. And so the idea with this deck is we'll just keep our threat under 24 and simply overpower the quest. And so let's get to the quest and see how we do. All right, we'll look at our opening hand, and generally, just to show you what we have to deal with in terms of the enemies in the deck, the lowest threat, they're all pretty high threat, except for Marauding Orc is 25, and then I think the next one is Orc Rabble at 28. So if we can keep our threat at 24 or under, we won't have to worry about dealing with any enemies engaging us. And so having an opening Elrond's Council is really good, because we'll just keep our threat low that way. And it's also nice that we already have Light of Valinor, so it's a good opening hand. And let's go ahead and look here. This is Lord Alcaron. We've seen his, he made an appearance in the scenarios earlier, so he's come back into the story. The first player gains control of Lord Alcaron, and he is not like, Bilbo. We're used to this fourth hero. This is not a hero. This is an objective ally. So he has a response, though, that we'll read about in a minute. If he leaves play, we lose the game. All right, here is Savagery of the Orcs. Emerging from the Druidon forest with news of the conspirators' demise, you begin your journey to Minas Tirith. As you wake the following day, you see dark plumes of smoke rising across the lands of Anorion. For setup, we set Gulat aside out of play. Here is Gulat, quite violent, that art. It's kind of par for the course for whatever reason for Heirs of Numenor and Against the Shadow. Not that I mind, it's kind of cool. Put Lord Alcaron into play, and so he is in play, and he is under our control. Make Burning Farmhouse the active location. Here is Burning Farmhouse. It has this keyword, villagers, and in this quest, you when a card comes out that has their locations that have villagers and then a number on it, you put resources on this card equal to that number. So there will be, this represents 4 villagers that are trying to escape from the Burning Farmhouse. We have to help them by exploring Burning the Farmhouse. When we do, the villagers are removed from the Burning Farmhouse and they're moved to safety is the idea. So then we add the rescued villagers and dead villagers objectives to the staging area. Then we'll reveal one card from the encounter deck. But let's look at these two cards. Here's Rescued Villagers. If a location leaves play as an explored location, move any villager tokens from that location to this card, to Rescued Villagers. So if we explore Burning Farmhouse, all 4 of these resources move over to Rescued Villagers, which is the idea. We want to rescue villagers in this scenario. However, this says if a villager token is discarded from a location, objective, or quest stage, place a damage token on dead villagers. And so you have the choice to either, or the opportunity to either move these tokens over to rescued villagers in the form of resources on rescued villagers, or if they're discarded, they become damage on dead villagers. And it says here at the end of the game, if there are more damage tokens here than villager tokens on rescued villagers, the players have lost. And the same thing, except at the end of the game, if there are more villager tokens here than damage tokens on dead villagers, the players have won. So we need to have more villagers rescued than dead by the end of the quest. And this is an example of how they can leave play and be moved over to the dead villagers card. This forced effect: at the end of the round, discard 1 villager token from Burning Farmhouse. And so we'll try to keep that from happening. And so now we reveal a card, and it's going to be that low threat Marauding Orc. It has a forced effect: after Marauding Orc attacks and destroys a character, place 1 damage token on dead villagers. But the plan is not to have to engage him at all this scenario. Okay, so on the B side, we see there's no progress that can be made. In a smoldering village near Amon, you find none other than a tired Lord Alcaron. Pleased to see you, he requests your assistance in protecting the village. This quest card actually has the keyword villagers on it, so we put 5 tokens on Savagery of the Orcs. And it says when progress would be placed on Savagery of the Orcs, move an equal number of villager tokens from this quest onto rescued villagers. If there are no villager tokens on Savagery of the Orcs, advance to the next stage. So in a sense, this is basically 5 quest points to advance. All right, well, let's go ahead and move to the resource phase. And we'll go ahead for sure and attach Light of Valinor to Glorfindel, and we'll exhaust Bearvor to draw 2 cards. And we're going to go ahead and just quest all out. We'll quest with Hirluin the Fair, with Glorfindel, who will not exhaust a quest because of Light of Valinor. He does not exhaust to commit to a quest, so his threat doesn't go up, or our threat doesn't go up. We'll also even quest with Lord Alcaron, knowing that the only enemy that could engage us, the lowest engagement cost, is Marauding Orc. And so we're going to quest with everybody and play Elrond's Council. We'll lower our threat by 3, and we'll say we boosted Lord Alcaron for the phase. And we reveal Burning Farmhouse. That has 4 villager tokens on it. And so we made 3 progress. 1, 2, 3. And we will not have to engage Marauding Orcs. And we refresh, and here's a situation where we're going to lose a villager, because this says forced. At the end of the round, discard 1 villager token from Burning Farmhouse. Same thing here. At the end of the round, discard 1 villager token from Burning Farmhouse. However, Lord Alcaron for this scenario has this response: after a villager token is discarded, exhaust Lord Alcaron to place that villager token on a location instead. And so what we'll do is we'll exhaust him to keep, this one's going to lose a resource, but this one, whenever it's lost, we'll just put it back on Burning Farmhouse, because it doesn't qualify which kind of location. It can be any location. However, 1 villager was discarded, so if a villager token is discarded from a location, objective, or quest stage, place a damage token on dead villagers. And so we do have a damage token. And so we'll move on. We use his response during the, at the end of the round. You can use responses outside of action windows and outside of even phases. Okay, so next round. And Bearvor will draw 2 cards. And we'll go ahead and we're going to use, I'm not sure that I've used a very good tale yet. Let's go ahead and play Hunter of Lamadon. When Hunter of Lamadon comes into play, response: after you play Hunter of Lamadon from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is an Outlands card, add it to your hand. Otherwise, discard it. That card is going to be Forlong. So we'll add Forlong to our hand. And then we'll also play Warrior of Losarnak. Now this one says each Outlands character you control gets +1 defense. So we'll go ahead and boost all 3 of our Outlands characters. And that's just we just have 2 willpower right now between these two. Now we're going to play a very good tale. Exhaust 2 allies you control to shuffle your deck and discard the top 5 cards. Put up to 2 allies discarded by this effect into play under your control. The total cost of the allies put into play cannot exceed the total cost of the allies exhausted to pay for this effect. So in this deck, in this scenario, we always want to exhaust 2 cost allies, 2 of them, to fuel a very good tale. So we're going to discard or exhaust these 2 allies for a total of, that's 4 resources. And so we're going to shuffle our deck and then look at the top 5 cards, and any allies equal to the cost of 4 we can put into play. Now this is not the best situation here. We can't afford to put Gandalf into play because it was 2 allies that cost a total of 2. So we're just going to get out of that a single Ithir Swordsman. These other cards are discarded. All right, and so now Ithir Swordsman comes into play, and he is going to boost all Outlands characters by +1 willpower. And of course, he is boosted by Warrior of Losarnak. We are out of resources to spend. We'll hang on because we don't have anything else to do with it, but we might need Test of Will. But let's quest as heavily as we can. And we'll reveal Craven Eagle. When revealed, discard the character with the fewest remaining hit points. That character's controller may discard 3 cards at random from his hand to prevent this effect. And I could discard 3 cards, but rather than that, I'll play a Test of Will, cancel the when revealed effects of a card that was just revealed from the encounter deck. And so that when revealed just is canceled, and we make a single progress. We didn't quite clear Burning Farmhouse. And so we will refresh. We don't have to engage anybody. And at the end of the round, we're going to lose 2 villagers, but we'll exhaust in response Lord Alcaron to move one of those villagers back onto Burning Farmhouse. But we have lost another villager. We have 2 dead villagers. All right, so we'll go on to the next round. We'll exhaust Bear of War to draw 2 cards. And perfect timing, we have a good harvest. Let's name leadership so that we can go ahead and put out Steward of Gondor. We used Glorfindale's spirit resource to be able to pay for that. And so now here Lewin has Steward of Gondor, and so he can begin to pay for all these allies that we would like to put into play. All right, so it's probably either way it's best. I guess let's just go ahead and put out Warrior of Losarnak. And so now all of our Outlands characters are boosted by +2 defense. All right, again, we're not worried about any enemies engaging us other than this 25 engagement cost, but let's just quest all out. And we should make the needed progress to clear Burning Farmhouse this round. Okay, Panicked. When revealed, each player must take a villager token from rescued villagers and place it on a location in the staging area, if able. If no villager tokens were placed on a location by this effect, Panicked gains Surge. There aren't any villagers yet on rescued villagers. So it surges into Orc Rabble, and we've seen this guy before. When Orc Rabble is dealt a shadow card, it gets +2 attack. This is actually, it's not a singular orc. This is a group of orcs, but we made 5 progress. So 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But rather than progress on Savagery of the Orcs, we actually just remove these villagers and place them, 4 of them, on rescued villagers. So no progress made. It says when progress would be placed on Savagery of the Orcs, move an equal number of villager tokens from this quest onto rescued villagers instead. It says if there are no villager tokens on Savagery of the Orcs, advance to the next stage. Okay, so these villagers were rescued. So we're up to 8 rescued villagers. This goes to the victory display. We'll travel here, and we will refresh. And at the end of the round, instead of discarding this villager due to the force effect, we'll exhaust Lord Alcaron to cancel that with his response. Next round. Okay, Bearvor will draw 2 cards. And we'll play Hunter of Lamadon from our hand using Bearvor's resources. Response: after you play Hunter of Lamadon from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is an Outlands card, add it to your hand, otherwise discard it. Alright, here's a sneak attack. It's discarded. Okay, so we will go ahead and play our 3rd copy of Warrior of Losarnach. So all Outlands characters are getting +3 defense now. And I'll hang on to sneak attack just in case I need it. I don't think I do. Yeah, we don't need it. Let's just go ahead and play Knights of the Swan. So now, Knights of the Swan boosts all Outlands characters by +1 offense attack. Okay, so we're out of resources to spend. Let's go ahead and quest with everybody. We'll make plenty of progress here. I'll leave 1 warrior or Hunter of Lamadon ready, I guess. No, let's just go. Okay, so we reveal Burning Farmhouse again. So 4 villagers on this card. And we made 10 progress, so 5 and 5. So again, this goes to the victory display. These villagers are rescued and transferred over to rescued villagers. This villager is rescued and transferred over to rescued villagers. This goes to the victory display. If there are no villager tokens on Savagery of the Orcs, advance to the next stage. All right, so protect the villagers. The Orcs pillaging Anorian are remnants of the army defeated at Kyrandros. Stranded on the western banks of the Anduin, they are now punishing the local population. One of the roving bands is led by a cunning orc captain by the name of Gulat. You must stop Gulat and his orcs, or many innocents will die. When revealed, add Gulat to the staging area. So here he comes, the grizzly orc with his decapitated head. He has an attack of X. X is a number of damage tokens on dead villagers, so he would attack for 2 at this point. We'll designate that on his card. He has a force effect. When he attacks, place 1 damage token on dead villagers, but he has 30 engagement. We'll just never engage him. While Gulat is in play, the game cannot end. So we're just going to sneak attack Gandalf in and hit him for 4, then put him in again next round. He's dead just from 2 Gandalfs. Easy peasy. Or we have to make 15 progress. If an attack goes undefended, discard X villager tokens from rescued villagers instead of damaging a hero. X is the amount of damage that would have been dealt. When the players defeat the stage in the game, compare the number of tokens on rescued villagers to the number of tokens on dead villagers. We've talked about that. So during travel, we'll travel to Burning Farmhouse, and we're not going to engage anybody because our threat's at 23. We're under marauding orcs still. Refresh, and at the end of the round, instead of discarding this from this force effect, we'll just exhaust Lord Alcaron to move the discarded villager to a location, which can be back on Burning Farmhouse. Okay. Steward of Gondor, draw 2 cards with Bearvor. And then we'll play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And we will discard we'll discard Steward of Gondor. We'll play Daron's Runes to draw 2 cards. And we will discard this extra Forlong, which I guess he really probably won't come into play here. Okay, let's go ahead and play the Enfilos Herdsman. First one we've seen. So now all of our Outlands characters get +1 health. And we'll play both of these Knights of the Swan. Okay, so the Knights of the Swan are boosting all of our Outlands characters for a total of +3 attack. So you're starting to get pretty stout here. Then we'll just go ahead and sneak attack at the beginning of questing. We'll sneak attack Gandalf into play. And when he enters play, we'll use his response to place 4 damage on an enemy in play. So we'll put that on Gulat. And we'll quest. And we reveal Scourge of Mordor. When revealed, each player discards the top card of his deck. Until the end of the phase, raise the total threat in the staging area by X. X is the total cost of all cards discarded by this effect. So 1 card, we will discard a Test of Will. So the willpower threat, I should say, goes up by 1 in staging. All right, so we made 14 progress. That's going to be 9 on the current quest. And this leaves play, and the 4 villagers are rescued. And so there we go. Again, we're at 24, so we don't have to worry about our threat. We'll leave Marauding Orcs right there. Gandalf comes back to our hand, and we will refresh, and this will be the final round. Bearvor draws us 2 cards. We will play Hunter of Lamadon using Bearvor's resource and Heirluin's. So here is our 3rd Hunter of Lamadon. And we'll use his response. Look at the top card in our deck. If it's an Outlands card, draw it. If it's not. So it is discarded. Okay, we will play A Very Good Tale. And we'll exhaust these 2 Hunter of Lamadons. And we'll look at the top. We have to shuffle our deck. Then look at the top 5 cards. And there are no Outlands characters. So that was a whiff. Okay. So then we're going to sneak attack Gandalf in to play. Actually, before we do, let's go ahead and play A Good Harvest and name Leadership. So 1, 2, 3. Let's do it that way. We'll play Forlong. And he has this text, while you control Outlands allies that belong to 4 different spheres, we do, 1, 2, 3, 4, then ready Forlong at the beginning of each phase. He's kind of crazy. So he's getting the boost, because he's an Outlands character. And now we'll sneak attack Gandalf into play. And we will put 4 damage on Gulat. He leaves play. He goes to the victory display. And we'll play Elrond's Council. We're in questing, and now we're going to quest with everybody. And win the game. And we reveal Orc Rabble. And we made 18 progress. 18 plus 9 is 27. It says when the players defeat this stage in the game, compare the number of tokens on rescued villagers to the number of tokens on dead villagers, 15 to 2. And so since there's more on rescued villagers, we win the game. A lot of times I'll play this and I don't have any dead villagers, but this is probably on the high end. But it's really hard to lose this. You pretty much want a mulligan for Light of Valinor or Elrond's Council just to keep your threat underneath the Marauding Orc. And by the time, once a round, an enemy or a location is going to be added to staging, but we outpace that really quickly with these Outlands characters. So usually it's a win. Not usually, always. I don't know if this is really losable with this deck. So again, we just kind of blew it away just for fun, using an Outlands deck to demonstrate just how powerful that is. but only in the right quests. There's some quests where you don't have the option to spend a couple of rounds getting these allies out, and so sometimes it's not like a kill switch for this game. You will lose if you use Outland's decks against some scenarios. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. As simple as it was, but we'll continue on. Next scenario will be our first Nightmare deck. I'm excited about getting back to Passage Through Mirkwood, the Nightmare version of it. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great day.